Good morning, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you for coming back. I always appreciate your presence. So I have several news to share with you in reading and on video. I selected from or I choose for you from different media. So thank you for coming back. Today is April the 5th, 2023. So I will start with African news about US and European Union closely monitoring Ethiopia's peace implementation. So I will start with that one. Then also I have a video on Ethiopia's crackdown on a covert operation on a high-profile case on professors and doctors. So I have that one, plus about the two women appointed by Ethiopian Parliament to the High Court, Ethiopia's Federal Court, plus other news in reading and on video. Thank you again for coming back. Let's get started with US and European Union closely monitoring about Ethiopia's peace implementation before normalizing relationship with Ethiopia.
The EU foreign policy chief said on Tuesday that the EU and the US were monitoring the implementation of the peace agreement in Ethiopia and would only gradually restore their relations with Addis Ababa. A peace agreement signed in November 2022 ended 2 years of brutal conflict in the northern region of Tigray.
First of all, in Ethiopia, this was a major crisis, and now, fortunately, things start to move towards solving it. That's one of the rare good news that we have in the world. And to sustain the current progress, it is important that the EU and US continue working hand in hand. The message to both the government of Ethiopia and the Tigrayans is to make them understand that we are watching the settling of the conflict and will only normalize our relations in a gradual way, step by step.
According to the United States, the conflict in Tigray claimed around 500,000 lives.
Find out where that road leads. Take on any challenge.
የህዝብ ተወካዮች ምክር ቤት የፌደራል ከፍተኛ ፍርድ ቤት ፕሬዝዳንት ወይዘሮ ሌሊሴ ደሳለኝንና ምክትል ፕሬዝዳንት ዛህራ ኡመር አሊ ሹመትን መርምሮ አጸደቀ። የህዝብ ተወካዮች ምክር ቤት በዛሬው ዕለት 13ኛ መደበኛ ጉባኤውን እያካሄደ ነው። ምክር ቤቱ ባካሄደው 13ኛ መደበኛ ጉባኤ በእጩነት የቀረቡ የፌደራል ከፍተኛ ፍርድ ቤት ፕሬዝዳንት ወይዘሮ ሌሊሴ ደሳለኝና ምክትል ፕሬዝዳንት ወይዘሮ ዛህራ ኡመር አሊ ሹመትን መርምሮ በአብላጫ ድምፅ አጽድቋል። የፌደራል ከፍተኛ ፍርድ ቤት ፕሬዝዳንት ወይዘሮ ሌሊሴ ደሳለኝና ምክትል ፕሬዝዳንት ወይዘሮ ዛህራ ኡመር አሊ ቃለ መሐላም ፈጽመዋል። ዘገባው የሻምበል ምህረት ነው።
Okay, one more video, then I'll start another news in reading. This is Zahara, and this is Lelise, Vice President.
በአዲስ አበባ በባህር ዳር በአዳማና በድሬዳዋ ከፍተኛ የመንግስት
So
አመራሮችን ኢላማ
this
ያደረገ
video is
ጥቃቶች
about
ለመፈጸም
Ethiopia's
ሀገራዊ
security
ሁከትና ብጥብጥ
intelligence
ለማስነሳት
and
ሲንቀሳቀሱ ነበር
joint
የተባሉ
task
ቡድኖችን
force
በቁጥጥር ስር
crackdown
መዋላቸውን
on
የጸጥታና ደህንነት
covert
የጋራ
operation.
ግብረ ኃይል አስታውቋል።
የጋራ
I have
ግብረ
also
ኃይሉ ለፋና
translation from
ብሮድካስቲንግ
Addis
ኮርፖሬት
Standard.
በላከው መግለጫ እንዳስታወቀው በአማራና በሌሎች ክልሎች ውስጥ መቀመጫቸውን ያደረጉ እንዲሁም አዲስ አበባ ጭምር የሚገኙ ምሁራን፣ የሚዲያ ባለቤቶችና
This is
አክቲቪስቶችን
scary,
ያካተተ
really.
ህቡ መዋቅር በሚስጥር
If this
ሲንቀሳቀስ
is
እንደነበር
true,
ተደርሶበታል ብሏል።
if it's not made up by the government.
ረዳት ፕሮፌሰር ሲሳይ አውግቾ ፕሮፌሰር ማዕረጉ ቢያቤን ዶክተር መሰረት ወርቁ ተስፋዬ ወልደ ማርያም ተስፋዬ ወላሸት ፋሲል ሰለሞን ልመኔ ከተማና መንበራ የተባሉ ግለሰቦች በህቡ አደረጃጀት ሲሳተፉና ሲያስተባብሩ በቁጥጥር ስር ውለዋል ብሏል።
ሀገራዊ ለውጡን ለማስቀጠል በከፍተኛ የባለቤትነትና የኃላፊነት መንፈስ የሚንቀሳቀሰው ሰፊውን የአማራ ህዝብ የማይወክሉትና አሁን የተፈጠረው አንጻራዊ ሰላም ያልተመቻቸው እነዚህ ጽንፈኛ ቡድኖች ህብረተሰቡ በአሁኑ ወቅት በከፍተኛ ጭቆና ውስጥ ይገኛል የሚል ቅስቀሳ በማድረግ በሃይማኖት በብሔር እንዲሁም ከኛ ውጪ ሀገሪቷን ሌላ ማስተዳደር የለበትም በሚል የፖለቲካ ጽንፈኝነት ዓላማ ዙሪያ ደጋፊዎችን ለማሰባሰብ እየሞከሩ መሆኑን መግለጫው አመላክቷል።
በዚህም ህዝቡን ነፃ እናወጣለን የሚል የአመጽ እንቅስቃሴ ለማካሄድ ሲደራጁና ሀገሪቱን ዳግም ወደ ነበረችበት ቀውስ ለመመለስ ሲንቀሳቀሱ እንደነበረም ተጠቁሟል። ይህንን ዓላማቸውን ከግብ ለማድረስ በአማራ ክልል ውስጥ በሁሉም ስፍራዎችና በአዲስ አበባ እንዲሁም በሀገሪቷ በሚገኙ ሁሉም ዩኒቨርሲቲዎች ተማሪዎችን በአካባቢዎቹ ከሚኖሩ የብሔሩ ተወላጆች ጋር አስተሳስሮ የማደራጀት ስራዎች ሲሰሩ እንደነበረ መግለጫው ጠቅሷል።
በተቀናጀ መልኩ ህቡ ወታደራዊ ክንፍ በማደራጀት በጦር መሳሪያ የታገዘ የከተማ ላይ ጥቃት የመፈጸም እቅድ እንደነበራቸው በተለይ በየደረጃው የሚገኙ የመንግስት ባለስልጣናት ላይ ጥቃት በመፈጸም ህዝቡን የማሸበር ተልዕኮ አንግበው ሲንቀሳቀሱ መቆየታቸውንም የጋራ ግብረ ኃይሉ መግለጫ ጠቁሟል።
ከላይ በተገለጹት ህቡ አመራሮች የተዋቀረው የአዲስ አበባው የአደረጃጀቱ ክንፍ በየክፍለ ከተማው ለዘረጋው መዋቅሩ በርካታ የተለያዩ የነፍስ ወከፍ የጦር መሳሪያዎች ተቀጣጣይ ፈንጂዎችና ቦምቦችን ወደ ከተማዋ ማስገባቱም ተጠቅሷል።
ከነዚህ ውስጥ ግዛት የተባለ ባህር ዳር ዙሪያ ቁንዝላ አካባቢ መቀመጫውን ያደረገና በአዲስ አበባ ውስጥ ለሚገኘው ህቡ ክንፍ የተለያዩ ሎጂስቲክስ የሚያቀርብ ግለሰብ በርካታ የእጅ ቦምብ በተለያዩ ክፍለ ከተማዎች ለሚገኙ የቡድኑ አባላት እንዲያስረክብ አቅጣጫ የተሰጠው ቢሆንም በተደረገው ክትትል በቁጥጥር ስር እንዲውል ተደርጓል ብሏል።
በተጨማሪም አዲስ አበባ ጣፎ አካባቢ በሚገኝ የቡድኑ አስተባባሪ በሆነው ዳዊት አባቡ ቢተውና አዲስ አበባ ካራሎ አካባቢ ነዋሪ በሆነው ታደሰ ወይነው ተሰማ ላይ በተደረገው ክትትል የተለያዩ የጦር መሳሪያዎችና የወታደር ዩኒፎርሞች በቁጥጥር ስር እንዲውሉ መደረጉም ተገልጿል።
ሙሉቀን ወንዴ ቢተው ቴዎድሮስ ተሾመ አየነውና ሌሎችም በህቡ አደረጃጀቱ በነበራቸው ተሳትፎ መያዛቸውን ነው የገለጸው። የጋራ ግብረ ኃይሉ በህቡ አደረጃጀቱ ሲንቀሳቀሱ የነበሩ ሌሎች ተጠርጣሪዎችን በቁጥጥር ስር የመዋሉ ተግባር በተቀናጀ መንገድ መቀጠሉን አመልክቷል። የጋራ ግብረ ኃይሉ በቀጣይ ከጉዳዩ ጋር የተያያዙ ወቅታዊ መረጃዎችን ለህብረተሰቡ ተከታትሎ እንደሚያቀርብም አስታውቋል።
Former U.S. President Donald Trump arriving at a Manhattan.
Okay, that's we'll come back to it about former President Donald Trump appearing in court today. So we'll come back to that one. So this is a scary, the one we just listened to it. If you see this explosive pistols, military uniform, and whatever the government is claiming, this is scary. It's a very tough one. If it's not made up, sometimes the government, creates these kind of things to create fear and to target individuals. But this is a claim by Ethiopian government, by Ethiopian intelligence agencies, joint task force. Individuals are engaged in high-profile case to assassinate government officials and to conduct a military-style attack against Prosperity Party. Let's read the news on this. Just rough translation or translation by Addis Standard. The first one is say what it says. Ethiopia Security Intelligence Task Force detains covert group suspected of working to instigate nationwide conflict. The Joint Security and Intelligence Task Force in the capital announced that it has detained several members of Covert group whom it accused of allegedly attempting to instigate nationwide conflict by carrying out assaults targeting senior government officials in Addis Ababa, Bahir Dar, Adama, and Dredwa. The Joint Task Force said the group, which consists of academics, media owners, and activists based in Amara and other regions as well as Addis Ababa, was found to be operating covertly, according to state media. Yes. Among the detained for their alleged contribution and coordination in the group establishment are Dr. Wenderson Asafa, Assistant Professor Sisai Augicho, Professor Maragu Biabain, Dr. Meseret Werku Tesfaye, Miriam Tesfaye, Tesfaye Yualishet, Fasil Solomon Lemene Katema, and Menber. The statement indicated that the group was suspected of attempting to rally people in the basis of religion, ethnicity, and political radicalism to ensure that they should rule the country by promoting the idea that the public is currently under extreme government oppression. They were planning to carry out a violent movement, declaring that they would liberate the populace. They were working to plunge the nation once more into crisis. The group has been trying to link and organize university students with the local Amara population in all areas of the Amara region, Addis Ababa, and all of the country's colleges, as well as organizing a military wing and frightened the people by attacking government officials, the statement said. The Joint Task Force pointed out that it will reinforce the coordinated effort in looking into other suspects who were active in the organization of the group. Thank you at this standard for the translation of this the video we just watched. So this is a very serious covert operation. Professors, doctors, high academics, academicians involved in this covert operation against prosperity officials or against the prosperity government. And it seems it's an organized attack or a planned attack by the Amaras who are not happy about prosperity or Madamar generation philosophy and what's going on under Abiy Ahmed. So that is the government claim, and the individuals arrested, and there is no way for us to independently verify this claim. So we just report to you. This is from, again, from Ethiopia. Ethiopian Parliament revokes Dr. Chala Wata's immunity and appointed Lelise Desalegn as president for Federal High Court. The House of People Representatives has voted to revoke the immunity of MEP Chala Wata, PhD, on a corruption-related offense. Dr. Chala, former president of Bule Hora University, has had his immunity revoked accused of involvement in procurement works outside the government procedures, which led to embezzlement. The Ministry of Justice, which asked for Dr. Chala's immunity to be revoked, said money accounted in millions has been deposited into Dr. Chala's account, and a residential building which was registered under his wife's name has been found. The parliament approved the decision to revoke his immunity by majority vote with one abstention, Dr. Chala Wata himself. So he abstained against the decision taken by parliament, only one. So this is also need further independent analysis and investigation about this revocation or removal of immunity from this individual, from this MP member. Why they targeted him, only one. Corruption is common on all level. On all level, you cannot get anything done without paying the officials in Ethiopia. So why this they targeted Dr. Chala Wata? What is the reason? That should be investigated to confirm this government claim. And he may be against the Prosperity Party or the policy of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. So this is maybe can be considered as a targeted plot against Dr. Chala. Yeah, because corruption is common. All of them are corrupt, really. All of them. And if it's corruption, all should be investigated. And the targeting of this individual will not solve the corruption problem. Meanwhile, the parliament also approved the appointment of president and the vice president of the Federal High Court. Accordingly, former vice president of the Federal High Court, Lelise Desalegn, has been voted as president of the court with majority vote and 2 abstention. The appointment of Zahara Omar Ali as vice president of the court has also been approved in the same manner. So you saw the video, the 2 ladies, president and the vice president for the country's Supreme Court. So we have 2 women in the top justice system. I hope they will work on accountability in that country. Accountability is lacking in Ethiopia. People killed and nobody accounted for almost 5 years since Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed came to power. Open assassination, undercover assassination, including Abdul Jabbar Hussein assassination and the engineer, the engineer killed in Addis Ababa, the high military commander killed in Addis Ababa. So many high-profile cases, and nobody accounted for. And artist Hachalu Hundessa killing, plus so many. So I hope these 2 ladies will work on that one to create accountability and work for justice in Ethiopia. Plus, so many Oromo politicians freed by justice still detained by Prime Minister order. This is against justice. If the justice system freed them, they're supposed to be released. So this is also, I hope they will consider it and follow up it, release those individuals who are innocent, just kept in prison because of the Prime Minister's decision. Okay, this one is Finland accession to NATO. So Finland joined NATO officially today. Press statement, Anthony J. Blinken, Secretary of State. So this is a statement on Finland joining NATO. On this historic day, as we mark the 74th anniversary of NATO, we also welcome Finland as NATO's 31st ally. Finland is stronger and safer within the alliance, and the alliance is stronger and safer with Finland as its ally. Finland has a highly capable military and has been an active participant in NATO-led operations. It also shares our values and strong democratic institutions. We are confident Finland's membership will strengthen our collective defense and enhance our ability to respond to security challenges in the Euro-Atlantic area. Russia's further invasion into Ukraine last year precipitated the very thing President Putin wanted to avoid: a stronger, more unified transatlantic alliance. Sweden is also a strong and capable partner that is ready to join NATO. We encourage Turkey and Hungary to ratify the accession protocols for Sweden without delay so we can welcome Sweden into the alliance as soon as possible. NATO has helped maintain peace and stability in Europe for over 70 years. It has also played a critical role in promoting stability and the international rules-based order around the world. Finland's membership in the alliance will advance these shared goals. So that is a press release from US State Department on Finland officially joining NATO as the 31st member. So Russia cannot attack Finland. If that happens, they will declare the Article 5, and the attack on one NATO member is an attack on all NATO members. So Finland had a protection of 30 other countries. So we'll see. And Russia already sent a warning that any deployment or military build-up around the border area with Finland will have serious consequences. That's a warning from Russia. But already now, Russia cannot attack Finland like it did, still doing in Ukraine. This one is BBC reporting about clashes erupted at contested holy site between Palestine and Israel. This is a troubled region, as I reported on this region multiple times. No solution. Now the Israeli forces, raided the mosque, and the beating is mind-blowing. This is a very graphic if you see the video. Excuse me. Israel police have clashed with dozens of Palestinian worshippers at Jerusalem's contested holy site. Police say they conducted a pre-dawn raid after what they called agitators with fireworks, sticks, and stones shot themselves inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Palestinians say 14 people were hurt after the police used stun grenades and rubber bullets to clear out the group. At least 9 rockets were later fired from the Gaza Strip into Israel, with air alert sirens sounding near Sderot. The Israeli army said 5 rockets were intercepted and another 4 landed in open areas. No group has so far claimed responsibility, but it is believed that the militant group Hamas approved the firing. Hamas deputy head Salah al-Arori warned that attacking Islamic sanctities will have a great price and will burn the ground under their Israeli feet. The Israeli military later said its warplanes targeted militant sites. The clashes in Israel annexed East Jerusalem started after a number of Palestinian worshippers had barricaded themselves in the mosque after Ramadan prayers. Footage taken from within the mosque apparently shows fireworks being fired by the protesters. Israeli police says stones were thrown at them, injuring one police officer. Another video appears to show Israel police beating Palestinians with sticks. The Palestinian Red Crescent later said that Israeli forces were preventing its medics from reaching the mosque. That is inhumane and is a crime too, preventing ambulance from reaching to the victims. Palestinian militants had earlier called for Muslims to lock themselves in the mosque amid report that Jewish worshippers wanted to sacrifice a goat on the compound for Passover that begins on Wednesday. The hilltop site in Jerusalem is the most sacred place in Judaism and the third holiest in Islam. It is known to Jews as the Temple Mount, site of two biblical temples, and the Muslims as Haram al-Sharif, the site of Muhammad's ascent to heaven. The entire compound is considered to be Al-Aqsa Mosque by Muslims, but the latest clashes were inside the mosque building itself. Jews and other non-Muslims are allowed to go to the compound, but not to pray. So Palestinians see visits by Jews as an attempt to change the delicate status quo. So that is a very challenging region and has no solution. I hope the two-state solution will solve all this continued bloodshed and continued upper hand atrocity by Israelis in that region, and the establishment, the continued establishment, settlers on Palestinian land, continued non-stop, and nobody dared to stop them. This is about Rwanda, again from BBC. I'm happy to retire and become a journalist, said Kagame, president of Rwanda. President Paul Kagame of Rwanda has said he is looking forward to retiring and handing over power after 23 years in office. Speaking at a joint press briefing with his Kenyan counterpart William Ruto in the Rwanda's capital Kigali, Kagame said a succession plan is being actively discussed by the ruling party, terming his retirement an inevitability. Mr. Kagame said he was not necessarily interested in choosing his successor, but rather creating an environment that would give rise to people who can lead. We have been having this discussion within our ruling party since 2010, but circumstances, challenges, and history of Rwanda tend to dictate certain things, he said. He said his retirement is an issue that has to be discussed sooner or later. I'm sure one day I may join journalists in my old age. I am looking forward to that, Mr. Kagame said. His comments come days after the country's ruling party, the Rwanda Patriotic Front, elected its first woman vice chairperson. I reported yesterday on this one. President Kagame retained the chairmanship position. He has led the party since 1998. This was not the first time Mr. Kagame has talked about retirement. In December 2022, he said he had no problem becoming an ordinary senior citizen. Mr. Kagame has been president of the East African nation since 2000. A controversial referendum in 2015 removed a two-term constitutional limit for presidents. The president last year told a French TV channel he would stand for president again at the next election in 2024. So this claim he will retire and become a journalist is suspicious when you see his intention with a French journalist to run as a president again in 2024. So, power is greed, and you know, we just wait and see after 23 years if he's retiring and giving a peaceful transfer of power. That is a good thing, but mostly these politicians, no trust, what they are saying and what they are doing. Okay, that's all I have in reading. Let's continue watching a couple of videos and end today's presentation. The first one is update on former president, US President Donald Trump in court appearance, and the plus Finland flag raising ceremony, officially joining NATO. Thank you again.
Courthouse on Tuesday under tight security. Once in court, he pleaded not guilty to 34 felony charges stemming from a hush money payment made during the 2016 presidential campaign. Never before in the history of the United States has a former president faced criminal charges. Driving to the courthouse from his apartment in Trump Tower, the 2024 presidential candidate narrated the events on social media, calling the experience surreal. The hearing itself lasted just a few minutes. The charges relate to a payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels. The full details of the charges haven't yet been made public, but prosecutors say the payoff was part of conspiracy to undermine the integrity of the 2016 election. Trump then left the building, heading for his Mar-a-Lago home in Florida, where he is scheduled to speak to supporters later on Tuesday. In New York, security was on high alert for fears of rioters outside the court. Pro- and anti-Trump groups exchanged insults in front of a heavy police presence. Trump claims to be a victim of a witch hunt orchestrated by the Democrats. Beyond this case, the former president is subject of several other investigations, in particular on his role to the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021, his handling of presidential files, and allegations he pressured election officials in Georgia to falsify the vote.
Okay, one more video. I think this is the last one. So, raising of Finland flag and commemorating its joining NATO member. Okay. So these are the news updates selected for you in reading and on video from different media. So let me conclude by saying US and the European Union following or monitoring Ethiopia's implementation of the peace deal, paying attention, following it very closely, is appreciative. We should appreciate that. And they have to do it before, normalizing relationship with Ethiopia. I hope they will also, watch what is happening in Oromia too. The war is happening in Oromia. I hope they will not ignore that one. They should put it as a major issue in their diplomatic re-engagement with Ethiopia, because that's also a very serious one. People are dying since Abiy Ahmed came to power, especially in Wallagga, Guji, Burana area. So I hope US and the European Union will consider seriously the situation in Oromia and force Prosperity Party to settle this war in the same manner he did with the Tigray region. So I hope Europeans will consider and also put as a criteria before any normalization with a Prosperity Party. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for joining me. I will be back with other news and update. Be safe. So long, everyone.